are children of the sun. When every task we shall overcome. We were first upon the earth. We'll be the last, that's the holy word. We were first to look at life and ask the questions why. We were first to hear and heed the answers of the Most High. We were first to know the truth, the reciprocity. We were first to build a world of love and unity. We are children of the sun. In every task we shall overcome.
Everybody knows this. Sing.
We were first upon the earth.
We'll be the last.
We'll be the last. That's the holy word. Now we face the faithful task to rid the troubled land, to resurrect our hearts and minds and build a mighty plan, to build foundations for the people of the way. This work will surely test the genius of the race. We are children of the sun. In every task we shall overcome.
We were first upon the earth.
We were first upon the earth.
We'll be the last.
We'll be the last. That's the holy word.
We are children of the sun.
We are children of the sun. In every task we shall overcome.
We were first upon the earth.
We were first upon the earth.
We'll be the last.
We'll be the last. That's the holy word.
We'll be the last.
We'll be the last. That's the holy word.
We'll be the last.
We'll be the last. That's the holy
All right. So our next and last congregational song it's in the books, page 35. It's Come and Go With Us. And we want everybody to participate.
Okay.
Good
It's
morning,
a cappella. You with us? Okay.
Mr. Brown and Sister
Welcome.
Montgomery.
Come on now.
Sister Tracy's
Come on
parents.
now.
Come on in. They braved the rain and got on out, and we thank you.
Exactly.
Ashe.
So
And we
many,
thank you for that.
so many people laid in today here. So good to see you.
Oh, okay.
Come and go with us.
We are following the way. Come and go with us. We are following the way. Come and go with us. We are following the way. Amen, we're following the way.
One more time.
Come and go with us. We are following the way.
Speed it up now.
Come and go with us. We are following the way.
Come and go with us.
Come and go with us. We are following the way. Amin-Ra, Amin-Ra, we're following the way.
No more crying
No
now.
more crying there. We are following the way.
No more crying
No
there.
more crying there. We are following the way.
No more crying
No
there.
more crying there. We are following the way. Amin-Ra, Amin-Ra, we're following the way. No more self-hatred. We are following the way. No more self-hatred. We are following the way.
No more self-hatred.
No more self-hatred.
We are following the way.
Amin-Ra, Amin-Ra.
Work, study, and pray. Come on now.
Work,
Study and pray to restore the sacred way.
Restore the sacred
Work,
way.
study, and pray to restore the sacred way.
we gonna work.
Work, study, and pray to restore the sacred way.
Amin-Ra, Amin-Ra.
Come and go with us. Come on, y'all. I said, come and go with us. We are following the way. Come and go with us. Oh,
Following the way.
come and go with us.
We are
Following the way.
Amin-Ra, Amin-Ra. We're following the way.
One more time.
Amin-Ra, Amin-Ra. We're following the way.
All right.
Oh, you know what? Are you coming? Yes. Our sister, we're praying for our sister Fania, who is supposed to do the historical tribute, and Brother Shango just left. So hopefully he's going to rescue her in whatever's going on. Jalea is not well. Yeah. Okay. All right. And to step right in, always ready and on the stick, is our industrious Brother Tahimba Payton, who's always ready.
Good morning, we'll say. Thank you. We have, see, I'm not ready. We have come to that time. Good morning. I haven't met you. No, I'm talking to you. You two. I haven't met you. Don't I know you? Where do I know you from? We'll figure it out. How you doing, brother? What's your name? Okay, we'll figure it out. We have come to that time in our service that we call our historical tribute. It's a time that we take out each and every Sunday to pay honor, to pay homage, to pay tribute to some not necessarily famous but significant person, place, or event in our history, in Black history, in African history, because we know that if we don't take out the time to remember what we have done, it will be forgotten. And if we don't take the time to honor ourselves, we won't be honored. Okay, and so this morning I'm stepping in at the last minute to bring you a historical tribute, and I carry a music book around with me because I'm also involved with the Stones of Fire, and so I have a lot of music, and sometimes I can find an old historical tribute in it, and I found one today. So I haven't practiced this, I haven't done it in a while, but let's see how it goes. And this historical tribute is on 4 brothers, actually, not biological brothers, but 4 brothers. See? It's 5, not 4. On 5 brothers. Their names are Lewis Sheridan Leary. This all happened in 1859. Okay, so give you an era of where we are. Lewis Sheridan Leary, who was a saddler and a harness maker, and he was a former slave from North Carolina, and he lived in Oberlin, Ohio, with his wife and his young child. The second brother was his nephew. His name was John Anderson Copeland. He left North Carolina, a free man, and was a student at Oberlin. They both arrived on October 15th at the Kennedy Farm in Washington County, Maryland. And there they met Osborne Perry Anderson, who was a young printer, Shields Green, who was a runaway slave from South Carolina. He was in his early 20s, and he actually knew Frederick Douglass. And they also met there Dangerfield Newby, who was a free brother. And whenever I give a tribute and I talk about this era, I always make sure people understand that in those days there were enslaved Africans that they call slaves, that we sometimes call slaves. And there were also Africans who weren't enslaved, who they called in those days free, even though freedom is a relative term, right? So when I say slave and free, that's in relative to those days. So Dangerfield Newby was a free brother from the Shenandoah Valley. He was in his 40s, and he had a wife. His wife Harriet, who was a slave, and she was about to give. She was about to be sold to Louisiana, and his 7 children, or her 7 children, would be scattered, because that's what the slavery system did. It took us in and it sold us and broke families up and did all of that. And this brother Dangerfield carried a letter that said, "Oh, Dangerfield, come this fall without fail. I want to see you so much that it is one of the bright hopes I have left before me." Okay, so the 5 had a lot to live for. And they didn't know each other, except, as I said, Leary and Copeland were related. But they had one thing in common. They had a love of freedom, and they wanted to abolish slavery. Okay, so they had a love of freedom, and they wanted to abolish slavery. So they met on a farm with 16 white men, and on the next day, Sunday, October the 16th, 1859, they set out on a mission to free slaves from across the South and ultimately bring an end to the slavery system. That was their plan. The man who led this group was named John Brown. Okay, and now John Brown has been called a lot of things, and his plan has been called a lot of things. Some have said it was ambitious, some have said it was premature, and the exact details of his plan are not known. But what we do know is that he led a biracial armed guerrilla movement in Virginia, and he wanted to extend he wanted to set up a provisional government and extend it from the Black Belt South all the way up to the Appalachian Mountains. He would be the commander and the chief, and his white colleagues would be officers. The brothers would almost exclusively be line troops. But anyway, well, this was before the Civil War started. And so John Brown set up outposts in the mountains, and they would raid plantations and free slaves, and that the freed slaves would come to him. That was his plan, that they would set up outposts in the mountains, and that as they raided plantations, the freed slaves would come and join him. Okay. John Brown approached prominent blacks of the time. He approached people like Frederick Douglass and Martin Delany, and some gave him money but found ways not to participate. Even Harriet Tubman promised that she would participate, but she got sick and couldn't be there. Okay, so many people found out about John Brown's plan that 2 weeks before he was to launch it, he decided he would have to go early. The Secretary of War at the time heard about this plan to attack Harper's Ferry, and he thought it was so fantastic that he didn't bother to tell anybody about it or do anything. They didn't send any troops or anything. Okay, so Harper's Ferry was a small town of 5,000 people, 57 miles from Washington, D.C., and it was chosen because it had an armory there. An armory is a place where you keep weapons. It had an armory there, and it was lightly guarded, and it had 100,000 to 200,000 rifles. Okay, so John Brown and his crew, including the five brothers, attacked Harper's Ferry, and they captured the arsenal, and they captured the town, and they took hostages. Okay, so they had an initial victory, but that night the reaction to their attack was swift. Armed townsmen trapped them in a fire station. Okay. The next morning, 1,500 militiamen from neighboring towns, and by Monday, federal troops from the Marine barracks in Baltimore, Maryland, had shown up at Harper's Ferry with the intention of taking back the town and putting an end to this insurrection. Dangerfield Newby, one of the brothers, was the first of John Brown's men to die. Okay, when he died, he still had his letter from his wife in his pocket. Okay, on Tuesday, the Marines attacked, and the siege lasted 36 hours. Sheridan Leary was killed in the fighting. Okay, Shields Green and James Copeland were captured and hanged. Okay, Shields Green, they said, infuriated his captors with his cool defiance. I like that. And Copeland wrote letters to family stating that he could think of no more glorious way to die than in attempting to free his people. Okay. Osborne Green, the last brother, escaped and went on to fight in the Civil War. He died in 1871. Okay. Like I said, there are a lot of opinions on John Brown. Some think he was a lunatic. Some think he was a megalomaniac. Some think he should be a saint for trying to do what he did. But regardless of what you think of John Brown, the five brothers, Sheridan Leary, John Copeland, Osborne Anderson, Shields Green, and Dangerfield Newby, are courageous brothers who should be remembered. And so this morning's historical tribute is to the memories of those five brothers who did what they could to end slavery and free our people across, especially the South, but all of America. That's not it. Okay. I think you were up for a litany sacrifice. You want to do litany?
Good morning, everyone. For those that do not know, my name is Katabazi, and this is the time in the Wose worship service known as the Litany of Sacrifice. And the Litany of Sacrifice offers an opportunity for us to return a portion of that which we have earned for the week to the community to use in the support of this building. Brother Kukepra is, I just have a check today. Brother Kukepra is moving amongst you with offering envelopes to accept your sacrifices. Brother Bakare is at the altar. Sister Connie is on the piano. And as you prepare your sacrifices, this morning's inspiration reading comes from Egyptian yoga, philosophy of enlightenment, Muada Ashby. We were talking a little bit about Muada this morning. But I like Muada because he validates in such clear terms in what we are trying to practice here at Wose, what we advocate and what we strive to practice. And so He's on the same page with us, so he validates what we're saying and what we're doing in our studies. And on this particular passage, he's he's expounding upon Asar, and some very interesting insights in Asar, because we study Asar, but M.I.T gives us a different glimpse and a different side and perspective of Asar. He says, Asar represents the principle of death and resurrection, who was destroyed by evil, but who came back to life as Horus. To die is to be defeated by evil. To resurrect is to have a second spiritual, mental, psychological birth in the form of a new consciousness, which is termed Horus. He goes on, he says, Asar is the symbol of all humans. His journey is our journey. His struggle is our struggle. His reward is our reward. His victory is our victory. Each one of us is Osiris. And he goes on, he talks a little bit about the different color schemes that we see Osiris in. We see him in green, we see him in black, we see him in blue. He says this, Osiris's color is sometimes represented as green. Green is the color of the fourth energy center, the heart chakra. He says green is also the color of nature, the relentless life force of vegetation. Vegetation, nature itself is Osiris, as it grows in countless varieties and dies only to decay and become a source of nutrients for new vegetation. The life force within us is the same as that which is in vegetation. As Osiris, men and women exist in the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, in which the life force is engaged in an exorbitant movement forward. The movement of the force keeps the grass growing regardless of how many times it is cut. In the same manner, our soul will be reborn in many different times, places, and forms. Each time our soul lends itself to a clump of matter. It experiences life among the living only to someday shed it again. As the cut grass decomposes to produce food for the new grass, so too our used up and decayed bodies provides the experiences that the soul requires in order to achieve another level of life. So I thought we give thanks for that. I thought M.I.T was onto a nice strain there and giving us some very interesting insights into the deities and to the various values and principles that we embrace here at the Wose community. With that being said, we move forward to the litany, and if we could have each and every one please stand. Within the blank binder in your vicinity on page 15, you will find the litany of sacrifice. Litany of sacrifice is read in two parts. I am the leader, you are the community. And as Brother Baccarat stands ready, he's already caught me in height and starting to move past me. Sister Connie plays on the piano. Let us read together. Save us, O Holy One, by your name. Vindicate us by your might. Hear my prayer, divine protector. Listen to the words of my mouth. How can we repay the Holy One for the gifts that have been given to us? We will lift up the cup of salvation and call upon the God of our ancestors. We will fulfill our vows to our Creator in the presence of all our people. Gladly we bring our sacrifices to you. We will praise your name, O Amen-Ra, for it is good. Umoja, unity. We shall strive to maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. Kujichagalia. Ujima, collective work and responsibility. We shall build and maintain our communities together Our brothers and sisters' problems shall be ours to solve together. Ujamaa. Nia, purpose. We shall make our collective vocation the building and development of our community and the restoration of our people to our traditional greatness. Kaumba. Together, Imani, faith. We will believe with all our hearts in our God, our people, and in the righteousness and victory of our struggle. Amin Ra. Thank you. Okay. And so, as the candles of the Nguzo Saba are burning brightly, reflecting the 7 principles of our movement here at the Wose community, and as Sister Connie continues to play, you may assume a comfortable position at your chair. I will take a few moments to bless these sacrifices. And I say, O Holy One, we come again ever grateful and ever thankful for our lives, grateful and thankful for this day and for the rains that come and cleanse the sky and nourish the surface of the land and replenish our aquifers. We give thanks, O Holy One, and we thank you for these seasonal changes. We thank you for these great elements that occupy this planet, that occupy the universe. We thank you for the element of water. Water being one of the chief principles for life on this planet. And water that remains on the surface of a planet and does not boil away and is not frozen, allows for life to begin and flourish over the millennium. We give thanks for, O Holy One, for this creation, for this earth creation, for the waters, for the plants, for the animals, for the air, for fire. We know these are the elements that make up and compose the universe and allows the great engine of the universe to propel itself. The fire, the water, the cold. All of these are part of your master plans, of which much we do not know and understand. But we continue to worship, we continue to meditate, we continue to study the histories, the thoughts, and the ideas of our ancestors as they reflect those back to us. We do this that we may know you, O Holy One, in a more expansive way. And in knowing you, we know ourselves. And in knowing ourselves, we know you. And we pray to grow, to develop, to achieve salvation, that we may move forward and to another level, that we may join with glorious ancestors that have gone on before us but left behind such great work, a path, a blueprint to help us find our way. We give thanks for these things, O Holy One. We thank you for all the members of the Wose community today, those that gave, those that perhaps did not give. But we're thankful for each and every one, O Holy One, that took time out to come out today. And we pray that they be granted their most fervent desire. We pray for all those members that are traveling abroad. We ask for their protection, whether they be on the air, sea, and water. We ask a prayer of blessings and thanksgiving for our sister community in Sacramento. We pray for their well-being, for their strength going forward. Be with us throughout the remainder of this day. Be with us, O Holy One. Bless the one that will come with a word of encouragement that would help us get through another day, to get through another week, that we can return again to this this place called Wose, this oasis in the desert. Be with us, O Holy One. Give us strength. Grant blessings and protection. We come asking these things not in vain, but in the remembrance of the history and the legacy of your work amongst our people. And that, again, we can bridge, we can grow that relationship. And that is what we seek, O Holy One. To be with you again. To be with the one. To be on the upswing of the pendulum. To be in the flow of the tide. Be with us again, O Holy One. We come asking. Ashe and Amen Ra. And Sister Tracy will be our speaker for the day. And so a lot of people obviously are traveling today. So we wish them peace and blessings. And so I will step aside and allow the sisters to say what's on her heart.
Yes. All right. I'm giving thanks for this day, giving thanks for the healing presence of Shu and Tefnut blessing us, these sacred elements that we need to cleanse and clear our space and our minds, these sacred elements that we need to live, because when we didn't have them, we was like, uh-oh, what's going on? What's going on? Have the water wars already started up? What's going on? So we're thankful that they are showing up for us today. It's not an imposition. We're bright enough to know that these are necessary elements in our life, because we praise the rhythms of nature. We dance to the rhythms of nature, because that's who we are. Yes. How's everybody doing today?
All right. Beautiful.
I am so thankful to be here. Some people know that I just drove up from San Diego this morning.
Yes.
Yes.
Her parents. That was quite worrying her parents.
That was an adventurous trip, and a friend of mine, he is an artist, and he had a big art show. So he asked me a long time ago if I was coming, or he said something about, when you come to my art show, etc., etc. And I was like, who told you I was coming? And he was like, you're not coming. And I was like, of course I'll come to your show. And then I was like, okay, so I kept my word, because that's my boy, and it was a wonderful show. So hopefully he's out there. He often watches the live stream. And I appreciate him taking me out of my environment, because I needed a breather. So when we think about February, what's one of the main things that comes to mind? That's right.
Yes.
One of the main things that comes to mind. Now, in the conscious community, in the conscious population, that's what we think of. Everybody else, what are they thinking of? Valentine's Day, right? So this is billed as the month of love. Let's have some fun facts about Valentine's Day.
Bring it on.
So the Romans back in the day would celebrate the feast of Lupercalia from February 13th to February 15th. And the men would sacrifice a goat and a dog. And then they would take the hides of the animals that they sacrificed, and they would whip the women with it.
Stop it.
The women would get naked, and they would line up to be whipped, because it was believed that the whippings brought fertility. Can you feel the love? Can you feel the love?
Okay.
Right. So does love just exist in February? Of course not. Not even if Hallmark tells us it does. Right? We know that love is ever present. Love is infinite. And love is the ultimate healing element. Right? We know that. Some people like to say that God is love. And I'll stick with that. Because those same virtues, those same facts, those realities exist about the Most High. Now there is my topic for today is the love that love produced. And there's an interesting special. It was a 5-part special that was like Mike Wallace did it or something. Some toupee wearing sort of journalist from back in the day.
Stop it.
And so Mike Wallace had this 5-part special, and it was basically about the Nation of Islam, and it was this anti-black nationalist propaganda piece, sort of designed to engender fear in mainstream society about the black nationalist movement. So, you know, there was all this really inflammatory lingo, language about, and the hate mongers, and then they played this really like scary music while Elijah Muhammad was speaking. You know, and they took all these excerpts about, and the white man is evil, and the white man is this, and right? And they took the most inflammatory sort of excerpts, took them out of context, and presented them.
Yes, they do.
And even if they kept them in context, you know, folks don't like to swallow the bitter pill of truth. So they wouldn't have heard it anyway, but they made it worse by using sound clips. So I decided I'm going to remix that.
All right now.
Mr. Wallace.
Bring it on, girl.
I'm going to remix that because I'm much more interested in the growth and evolution of love. Right? Many say that there are just 2 emotions, love and fear, and every other emotion falls under those 2 areas. So anger and irritation and you know, nervousness, those are all in the fear energy category, right?
Yes.
But you have joy and peace and caring and, you know, kindness, all of that type of energy, that's love energy.
Yes.
Those are all expressions of love energy. And so often we can look in our history, you know, we like to do our historical tributes. We like to pay attention to our ancestors because we're smart enough to know that it didn't start with us and it ain't going to end with us.
Okay.
Right? We're smart enough to recognize that we have a legacy.
Yes.
And so we can look in our history and see an infinite amount of examples of love energy being expressed in the work that we do in our community.
Yes.
Right? We have to love ourselves and love our people to do the work that we do.
Yes.
Often our ancestors had to move past fear.
Yes.
Right? They had to have courage, and you know that courage isn't action in the absence of fear, it's in the face of fear.
Right.
You know, so you work through that fear and you're like, whatever, I ain't in no ways tired, and I'm gonna keep it pushing.
All right now.
Right?
Teach good.
There were even times when we had to force our brothers and sisters into not giving into their fear.
Yes.
Right? Mother Harriet was going to help you escape. That's right. She was going to help you escape the plantation, but I tell you what, she had that shotgun on your back to make sure that you could not give into the foolishness of fear. And logistically, folk didn't have time for you to be messing up because you could jeopardize the mission for everybody else. So trust and believe. You was either going to freedom one way or the other. You was either going to freedom or you was going to glory. But I tell you what, you was going.
All right.
You was going. And so that type of dedication, that tenacity, she did that out of love for her people. And love for Ma'at balance, love for right action. Right? Love, the truth, justice, righteousness, harmony. Mother Harriet worked for that aim and that goal. One of my favorite authors is Zora Neale Hurston. And one of my favorite phrases from her writings is she'll say that people are full of compellment. Right? Full of compellment. And she's talking about being compelled towards action. And being filled with compellment means not only are you compelled towards an action, you can't hold yourself back from that thing.
All right now.
Right? So we stay filled with compellment in the work that we do. My brother works with the Black Writers, right? Right? He's a active member of an organization of young brothers and sisters who are determined to bring about change in our community. And everybody's got different ways of going about whatever it is they're doing. You know, revolution has different faces, right? But we know that we have to stay full of compellment so that we can keep our trajectory moving forward and we can keep our movement moving, right? We can keep the momentum up. When we think about being full of compellment, one of the greatest examples of a being that's full of compellment is the Most High, right? In the creation of the universe. This was not a quick thing. The universe, the creation of the universe was not a microwave experience.
All right now.
Right?
Come on now.
And you know how impatient we are these days. We put popcorn in the microwave. It takes 3 minutes. We be like, looking all in the microwave. Is it done yet? Right? Back in the day, you used to have to put it on the stove. And I actually still make my popcorn like that. But my point is, it takes a little extra time. And even more time than that for things that are going, maybe you have a bigger meal. Right? It takes more energy. It takes more love energy put into creating it. So the Most High cooked up the universe, and it wasn't
Right. Come on.
and it wasn't a quick thing. It took tenacity. When we look at if you have a Hosea close to you, pick up the Hosea and turn in the book of sacred prayers and the prayers and sacred praises, page 20. Page 20 and passage number 7. Page 20. Okay, and let's read together. We're going to read the first 3 paragraphs. Praise to you, Amun-Ra, who spoke with his mouth, and there came into being men, powers, and principles of the universe, cattle, great and small, and everything that flies and alights, all of them. You created even the banks of the Hannibal people, who settle in their cities, and also the fruitful meadows fertilized by the original waters, and giving birth thereafter to good things without number to support all that lives. You are mighty as a shepherd, tending all people for all eternity. Bodies are filled with your beauty, and I see because of you. You inspire all and everyone, and their hearts turn to you. For you are good at all times, and all the world lives from your presence. So you have this ultimate expression of love that is the Most High, and then the Most High creates this love energy in the form of the universe, and then the universe inspires people, and then people look at the Most High, and then once again they're inspired, and they tend to the universe, and they get in touch with it, and they learn more about the creations of the Most High. So it's just this cycle that keeps going, and keeps going, and keeps going. It's a healthy cycle that perpetuates itself. It's a self-perpetuating cycle. Right? And out of this cycle grows love and an understanding of love energy. And when we look at these descriptions of the creation of the universe and Ra's description of itself, you think about the fact that that's a lot of work. Even the simplest thing, like creation or the design of atomic matter, that's some work. It takes some brilliance to do that. Right? And that one is not going to work as hard as the Most High did to bring about the universe without love. Without love. Faith, dedication, and most of all love were 3 essential tools in the creation of the universe. Things that the Most High focused its mind energy on. And we use those same tools to accomplish what we need to accomplish in this world and in this life. Now, many know that 40 is tapping me on the shoulder, right? 40 is tapping me on the shoulder, and you know it is very interesting.
Get the baby.
That's right. You know I'm still doing it now. But it's interesting because there's this whole new experience. I was just talking to my friend about it, how all of a sudden, I don't know, I just feel dazzling, like, ooh. It's like I'm filled with this self-awareness. You know, this new awareness of myself. That is just like, I'm really enjoying my own company. Yes, you know, for years and years I would hear people talking about 40 being sort of this major turning point for women, but who knew it was this much fun? Who knew? You see I see women, you know, I talk to women at work and they'll be like, oh, you know, they ask me how old I am and I tell them, because I don't mind. Black don't crack. And I'm like, you know, yes, I'm proud. And they're like, oh, I can't believe you're not uncomfortable. I'm like, what for? Shoot, I'm just getting better. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're telling the truth,
But
baby.
the fact of the matter is everybody doesn't have that awareness and understanding. So I'm thankful for it. But that too, that energy, that milestone, that turning point came as a result of the design of the Most High. That's also divine design.
Yes.
You know, I remember when I was turning 16, I thought I was so special and so cute, right? That was part of divine design. I was awakening to myself and getting a better understanding of myself. And I know what, is Kara 16 yet?
Oh, no.
No.
She's turning 15 this year.
Oh, okay, well, get ready. But it's a beautiful thing, you know, it's something to celebrate, a young woman coming into herself and really seeing her God self. You know, that's a beautiful experience to be able to help and facilitate a young lady through. And I have a number of youth in my life right now, my friends' children, who are also on the cusp of that and helping them to understand that love energy and how to cultivate that for themselves is like one of the greatest gifts I can give them. What I buy them is irrelevant, but giving them that understanding of themselves and their connection to the Most High, that's important. And even recognizing that I didn't really cultivate that fully in myself until later in life, but now I can pass that on. So I gained that love for myself, and now I'm giving that love, right? So that's the love that love, that's another example of love that love produces. When we pass on knowledge and understanding of what we've learned in life to our youth, that's the love that love produces, right? You know, sometimes I'll see Kukepra teaching Jalea how to do something. That's love. Somebody gave him some love and taught him something. And now he's showing her love and teaching her something. Right? That makes me feel like in this community we're raising our children correctly.
Right.
Because they understand the necessity for sharing the knowledge that they gain. They understand the beauty of that and they do it freely. It's not an occasion. They don't have to be told to do it. They just step up. And that's a beautiful thing. So one of the other folks that I'll have us turn to is a sacred ancestor, Mary McLeod Bethune, founder of Bethune-Cookman College. She was an educator. She understood the necessity for education for our folks and knew that other folks weren't going to do it for us. We needed to make sure that we were taking care of it. And she said, by hook or by crook, you know, whatever that means. We were going to get it done, right? In 1904, she opened what was then called the Daytona Educational and Industrial Training School for Negro girls with $1.50 in her pocket. Right? So she had to figure it out. She had to be creative, which is also, creativity is part of love energy. Right? She had to have faith. That's part of love energy. She had to have dedication. That's love energy. She had to have tenacity. That's love energy. So she created this institution, and all she had was $1.50 and 5 more girls. And she was like, we're going to start here. So eventually, through her lifetime, the school went through various stages of growth and development. She went out on the road, she did what she could, she stayed with friends, and she talked about the school and gained more funding for it so that they could expand their offerings and services and programs. Right? And in 1923, it became a co-ed high school as a result of the merger with Cookman Institute in Jacksonville, Florida. And then a year later, it became affiliated with the United Methodist Church and evolved into a junior college. And then in 1931 became Bethune-Cookman College. So, and then in 1941, Florida State Department of Ed approved a 4-year baccalaureate program offering liberal arts and teacher education. So she knew that empowerment through education was love that she could give the community, right? And it was such an amazing institution that it inspired another great person that we often talk about, Howard Thurman. He lived not too far from Bethune-Cookman College, and he would go there for their commencement exercises whenever his mother could get time off from work. So his mom was a very hard worker and a very good person. She somehow was acquainted personally with Mary McLeod Bethune. And so, you know, she knew her by name, and Mary McLeod Bethune also knew Howard Thurman. Right? And he said, he talks in his autobiography about how inspired he was to see the graduates. And mind you, this is a women's college. And this is a young man seeing women in a prestigious role and being inspired by them. Right? That's a beautiful thing. You imagine when the children in the kindergarten class here at Ileomade see the 8th graders graduating, how proud that makes them feel. They want to grow up and they want to be just like what they're seeing. And what they're seeing is a beautiful reflection of themselves, right? That love that was given to those youth to not only build up this school and this institution in the first place, but also to teach them so that they can be upstanding and have a sense of pride that shows very clearly both to people outside of the community and to the other youth that are seeing them. That is also an example of the love that love produced. We love these children enough to teach them well and make sure that they were on point. And now the other children are seeing that example. That's a beautiful thing. Now, one of the things that is also compelling when you think about love is the history of social activism, right? So our community is no stranger to social activist action, particularly through the building of institutions. So, folks can act like, oh, well, certain groups aren't as revolutionary or aren't as X, Y, and Z because they're not doing A, B, and C. Well, the fact of the matter is building an institution to make sure that we are educating our babies and make sure that we are educating our people about themselves and our spiritual legacy. You call that not revolutionary? You need to reread the dictionary.
Right now.
It is believed that it is not. Right? We have to vibrate at a higher frequency to be clear about what it is we're doing. Right? And at the heart and soul of the growth and development that we do is love. Is love for our people, love for ourselves, because we want to have our reflections and our seeds and those that we're connected to, we want to give them a place, the type of place that they deserve.
Teach good.
Right?
Teach.
And also love for our particular gift to the world. How many of us come into this school and into this community and give of our specific and very particular gifts?
Yes.
Whether it's just making the children smile from time to time, or whether it's coming here and teaching them from day to day and providing, that father figure all the time. When Baba Boubacar's like, stop running, quit doing that, sit down. I tell you what, give thanks, exactly, sister. But that's his expression of love for those children.
Absolutely.
He's making sure that they not only are staying in line and doing what they're supposed to do, but that they understand that somebody's paying attention to them.
Absolutely.
And that
So
they
important.
that.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, they cry when they graduate.
Right.
Ashe.
I love it.
Ashe.
So when we think about Wose and our history, there were, you know what, I think I need a little, anybody have a tissue?
Water?
Yeah, tissue. Yes. When we think of the history of our community, it was born out of need. It was born out of a need that was realized by our founders, Minister Makalisi and many others. Excuse me, thank you. Minister Makalisi and many others, they recognized that we needed a place, and it was through love and through faith and through tenacity that we were able to accomplish this great goal. They were able to build this great institution. They saw a need for us to be able to express our faith and understand our connection to it as African people. And so they brought forth this institution. And then further, it was recognized that we needed a place where we could teach our children in the sacred African way. And so Ileomade was born. So now we know that history is dynamic. It is not static.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
The world keeps on spinning.
True that.
Time does not stop.
True. Yes.
So now we're in the midst of another evolution. Just like Bethune-Cookman College, it started out with $1.50 and 5 little girls, right?
Right.
Then next thing you know, they got a 4-year university. Wose is in the midst of that same, Wose is an organization, meaning Wose Ileomade is in the midst of that same sort of evolution.
Yes.
That evolutionary process.
Yes.
And so, we have choices to make.
Yes.
Because sometimes we get caught up in the glory of what we've created. And thank you very much. We get caught up in the glory of what we created and don't recognize that there's still so much more. We have this wonderful foundation to build on. And we're in the process of realizing that fact, right? Understanding that we have so much to grow and build on. Now I'm going to pause for a minute and share something that I know about our people.
All right, come on.
Black people, Africans, love free napkins.
Well,
I asked for a tissue. And you know when we go into restaurants,
Yeah, you gotta ask for
you
more.
better ask somebody, if you
Yeah.
do not give black people their napkins, they will be righteously indignant. Like, I asked you for some extra napkins.
Thank you.
And do we ever use all those napkins? No. We fold them up and put them in our pockets. Right, and put them in the car, we got them in our purses. We even have the audacity to know which restaurants and hotels have the best napkins. And so we stock up when we go. I got to talk about us because I'm like, I got napkins coming from all over the place. And I'm like, I love my people. And we believe that we are entitled to as many napkins as we feel we need. Right, I think secretly we believe it to be part of our 40 acres. I think we believe it to be part of our 40 acres. Anyway, see, that was a little love break because I got to show love to my people because I'm just as bad. You open my car door and this napkin's lying all on the little side thing. And a variety of napkins for different uses, more absorbent napkins. So anyway, we recognize that while we're in the midst of this evolution, we're reevaluating how we're doing what we do.
Yes.
We're looking at our community and saying, what are our updated needs, right? Right now, we are struggling with community violence,
Yeah.
right? We're struggling with community violence. We are struggling with our people's search for meaning. There's so many of our folks that are out there that are starving
Yes.
for an understanding of who they are and
Yes.
starving for an understanding of a connection to a greater thing. So
Yes.
they move in the direction of things that are not healthy.
Right.
Just because that need is not being met.
Right.
Right? Our folks are searching for a desire. They have a desire for healing through movement. We love to dance. We love to move. And we love bass.
Yeah.
We like to feel those vibrations.
Uh-huh.
You know, we like to feel those rhythms. We like to feel those vibrations. So right now, our folks are starving for an expression of that, and they need a healthy expression of that, right? And even they're experiencing our people, we're experiencing a disconnection from the understanding of the omnipresence of the Most High, and understanding that the Most High is always with us and always available. So in African Religions and Philosophy by John M.I.T, right? This was one of the books that was mentioned in one of our classes. I can't remember exactly which class, but I usually try to order the books, and just got this one in the mail and was looking through it, and something stuck out for me. There's a passage on the occasion and place of worship, right? So he's talking about various African societies, whether it's Igbo or Yoruba or Fon or Twi or Ewe. The author's talking about our cultural tendencies and our similarities, right? And one of the things that he says is that evidence shows that African people worship God at any time and in any place. So faith is not an occasion. Faith is not something we put on Sunday like a hat. Right? And don't mess with it for the rest of the week.
Right.
Faith lives where we live. Faith is always with us. And we
Yes.
express that faith on a regular basis. It says that there are no rules for obliging people to worship at any given time or place, right? And it's a matter of practice and custom, which varies from one people to another, but essentially a common element is that we will praise and pray anywhere we are at any time.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
That's who we are as African people. That's how we get down.
All right now.
Right? And it's evidence, he's looking at ancient or classical African societies, but how many of us saw that with our grandmothers?
Oh,
Giving praise and prayer in the kitchen while they, stirring a pot, or
Right
just
now.
sitting down in the living room, or, whatever.
yes. Yes.
Going in the garden very
Yes.
meditatively, or
Pray
whatever it
without
is.
ceasing, yes.
Right. Pray without ceasing, exactly. And that lesson, it was like hands-on training just to watch the faith of these women and men in our families.
Yes.
That's love. And their love of the Most High God helped many of us cultivate our own faith experiences.
Yes.
And even though the details of our faith may differ.
Right, right.
The reality is the same.
Yes.
Because we're praying to and praising the same God.
Hallelujah.
We're praying to and praising the same God. We're also faced right now with things like mass disenfranchisement. Every time you turn around, it's like somebody is bothering us. Right? To put it lightly, somebody is always bothering us. It's like, can't I just be somewhere in peace? Can't I just go to work? Can't I just go to the store? Can't I just drive down the street without being harassed and bothered? And it's even beyond the casual expressions. You think about systemic racism. You think about disenfranchisement that's built into the system, and that's not an excuse; it's an explanation of things that we're experiencing.
Teach good, yes.
And one other thing that I'll mention is that there is also a growing acceptance of and participation in what many call the idiocracy. So some people, our children particularly, are being encouraged to just be stupid. Don't read, don't think, buy into whatever, purchase stuff. Just being encouraged to be stupid. Organizations put millions and millions of dollars into marketing ignorance to our youth.
Yes.
And to the general populace. And so many folks just go along and buy it, and they're like, well, that's what the kids want. It's like, really? What part of the game is that? Since when do we just always give children what they want? Aren't we supposed to audit that stuff and decide and think about it, et cetera, or at least talk to them about it and contextualize it?
Yes. Yes.
Right? So they don't start buying into it and thinking and understanding that this is real and this is reality. So those are all things that we have the tools to deal with. And the interesting thing about the Most High and the ancestors is that they were brilliant enough to, in love, design systems for us to address all of those things. The knowledge that we study is timely, yet timeless.
Yes.
We have young adults going out into the world, and, they are at an important stage in their evolution, and hopefully they'll understand prayer, meditation, all those essential elements are the things that are going to help you get over, because you're going to need them. It's like when you watch a film about somebody going through a rite of passage, and they go off on a journey, maybe into the jungle or maybe into the desert, and they give them some sort of goat skin, or they give them a thing of water, and they give them a knife, and they give them these tools that are going to be necessary for survival. We're equipping our children with a knowledge of themselves in relation to the Most High. We're equipping them with a knowledge of where they fit in in the greater story, in our greater story, and helping them to understand that they have a connection to a greater legacy. It's not just for fun. It's not just for giving them information. These are tools that our youth can use to combat all the mess that's out there, right? And even if they stumble a little bit, even if they falter, God forbid it ever happens, even if Kara comes back to visit and she's blonde, it's not going to last long. She'll come to her senses. She'll come to her senses when she gets picked up at the airport and nothing else. I knew Baba John, he would like that. Oh, good gravy, Marie. So now we recognize that increase of knowledge of self helps to increase folks' feeling of empowerment. When you know yourself and you know how great you are, you know your connection to the universe and the Most High, you feel like you could do anything. You feel invincible. In those times when you might feel broke down or weak or confused or upset, you know that you can lift your hands to the sky, close your eyes and turn within and get in touch directly with the Most High, right? You don't need no pager number. You ain't got to leave no voicemail. You ain't got to talk through nobody else. You go straight through.
All right now.
Straight through. A direct connection with the Most High. Right? We're not falling for those tricks anymore where somebody told us we had to do something. We got to tell us, you got to tithe this amount to be able to get to God. You need a magic prayer handkerchief or whatever the case, right? We recognize that we have a direct connection with the Most High. And that, again, isn't just information for the sake of information. That's what carries us through and helps us to understand exactly what we need and what we need to know, and how, that's a tool that we can use to get by. And I'm a testament, honey, because I'm on a regular basis stay in touch with the universe on a regular basis. Right?
Gotcha.
So now we're thinking tangibly about what to do. I'm going to ask Sister Connie to help me by handing these things out. Last week we had our community meeting, and we talked a little bit about the evolution of our community and some of the things that we would like to see, some of the things that we would like to bring into fruition. And so what Sister Connie is handing out is copies of the results of that conversation, right? Copies of results of that conversation, the things that people would like to have brought about in the community. Now, one of the things that Mama Basola brought up was, whatever we do, I don't want no more meetings. I'm tired of meetings. I'm tired of, we get together, we plan and meet, and nothing ever happens. So what she's saying is, cut out all this meeting, it's time for action. And she's absolutely right, right? So let's take a look at what the Hosea tells us about that. It's page 42, and in the book of Ptahhotep, passage number 4. Page 42, passage number 4. And this is not only a key passage for us right now, I will say, but this is a key passage for our youth. And to me, I feel like, back in the day we had to learn the 23rd Psalm.
Right.
This, to me, is something that every one of our children should know. Be diligent as long as you live. Let's read it together. Always doing more than is commanded of you. Do not misuse your time while following your heart, for it is offensive to the soul to waste one's time. Do not lose the daily opportunity to increase that which you have. Diligence produces gains, and gains do not endure when diligence is abandoned. Right? So one of the things that we have to keep in mind is part of being diligent is being focused and making sure that we have action. Sometimes we might be averse to timing things, but if we say, all right, we got an agenda, we're going to spend the first 20 minutes on, to planning, but the rest of this meeting will be actual work. And by the end of the meeting, we should have produced X, Y, and Z, and we should have a list of action items for the next time we come together, or for the time once we are apart, right? That's all part of that diligence that the Hosea is urging us towards, focusing and using our time in a healthy and productive manner. So again, this is a list of activities, just some of the activities that came up last week. And my question to you, Wose, or my questions to you, is how do we move forward, right? How do we ensure that these efforts are truly relevant in the context of what our community needs, keeping in mind the challenges that we stated, some of the challenges that we stated that we have witnessed? And also, do we ban meetings, or do we reevaluate how we run them?
Yes.
And how we participate in them? This whole idea of tabling something for 2 meetings? No. Right? Maybe our work meetings need a strong shot of mob balance, because it's good to have a plan, right? It's good to arrive at shared understanding. But once we reach that, it's time to jump into action. And we can actually spend the rest of the time producing something. So again, I'll go back to, I'll put the onus on the community, because we're going to be the ones doing this work with the things that we have on this list. How do we get started? What was it? Anyone?
Well, I think these various subtopics, I think, tend to fall within one of the commissions, the existing commissions. And so, by constitutional mandate, that commission should assume responsibility for whatever particular subtitle that it falls under.
Okay. So have the commissioners sort of lead the charge on the things that fall under their commission.
Right. And if it's necessary to set up a special commission if some kind of falls outside of everything, but I think from what I'm seeing here, everything should fall within the existing commissions that we have.
How are we feeling about our list of actions and activities? Are we feeling like this falls within the context of what our community needs? And it's not, by no means an exhaustive list, but at least it's something to help us get started on some of the things that we want to bring into fruition.
I would
Yeah.
say we need to take one thing. It's too much of a list.
Oh, I never thought that we would do everything. I thought that it would be a selection. Right, with the same few people, but I always thought that it would be like we would select a project or two. But definitely. Did you bring us something, Marcia? Okay. So, that was food for thought, right? That was food for thought. So now that we've come up with these things that we're interested in doing and moving forward, we have to make sure that we're also keeping in mind, all right, well, what's the next step? And I've already prepared an email for the commissioners just to say, this is what came up during the meetings. And, the commissioners meeting the COE, this is what came up during the meetings. And these are the areas that I think that they fall under, right, in terms of our different commissions. Senator?
What I don't see, and like I said, there's so much to talk about, so I know time's short, but the economic commissioner, things like Reverend Tarleson, relationships with him. As you know, he can actually supply Ileoma Day with fresh organic foods and other arrangements. Some of them, I could go into detail, but for the economic commissioner to talk about, as well as Powernomics for him to talk about. I don't see that
on the list. Okay. Well, I'll make sure that I add that.
Right.
Because I'll be tapping my head like that's what makes me remember, but that doesn't really work. Okay. Thank you.
So, have any of us, have we taken advantage of the teleconference option that is so available now?
Yep.
Has it been fruitful? I mean, has it been productive?
I think so. Have we ever used teleconferencing?
Yes,
Yes,
it's been
and
quite
so, yes.
productive. We've used it.
So at least now we have an understanding of what we need to do. We know that we have various tools at our disposal in terms of technology. We have an idea of places that we can start in addition to all the rest of our work, because know that most of the people who are in this room are active in other areas. Right? Are active in other areas. So do you want to find somebody that's going to do something, find somebody that's already doing everything. Because typically that's how it works. Sadly, few heads wear many, many hats, as Baba Katabazi likes to say. We recognize that all of these things, both the ones that are on the list, the others that will be added, and the ones that that come out of our continued evolution and growth and reevaluation of our goals, are going to require some real hard work. They may even require some come to Heru meetings, so to speak, right? They may require some real hard conversations, but it's important that we have them in our efforts towards evolution and growth. We think here we are a community of scholars. We take our classes in the mornings. There's some folks that teach. There's some people who are really diligent, extra diligent in their study. But the fact of the matter is, regardless of how many scrolls you can translate, regardless of how many times you've been to Kemet, regardless of what kind of, if you can write the entire, every glyph in the Medu Neter with your toes, irrelevant. If you are not actually endeavoring to do Ma'at in your daily life. And so we all have a responsibility through faith, and this is not me saying it or assigning a responsibility. This is the Hosea, this is the ancestors, these are the words of the Medu Neter. They're telling us you have a responsibility to do Ma'at. You have a responsibility to endeavor towards Ma'at balance. Ma'at balance is what built the universe. Ma'at balance is what built the great societies, because they also endeavor to do Ma'at, and we keep that at the forefront of our minds so that we can grow and we can evolve and we can do the great works that need to be done. So all of the things that we know and can write and can whatever are nothing if we have not love. Right? If we have not love. But if we stay focused on the creative love energy that is given to us by the Most High, right? Those special gifts that we bring to the world when we're born, right? Then we're planting seeds for future expression of love. When we honor the Most High by sharing the world's greatest gift, that is love, that is us doing the work of the Most High. Right? Love through our faith, love through our determination, love through our focus, love through our right action. That's part of the sacred gift. And the greatest sacred gift is infinite and everlasting love. And that's where we have to keep our minds focused, because that is at the heart and soul of everything that we do. Ashe. And so this is the time in our service when we invite folks to become a part of our community. You know, we are a community of hard-working, dynamic individuals, even if I do say so myself. And so we open the doors to folks who may want to join us in our praise and worship. But know that even if you decide you don't want to join us today, the doors are always open. Yes. Okay? So if we could all stand and come forward for our closing. And we join hands in a circle.
Grab my wrist because I'm feeling a little infectious today. So I'm just going to keep it to myself. You know what? That's what it is. My body was like, excuse me, ma'am.
Mama Mary's going to lead us sing the anthem today. Thankful to have her. Thank you. Yes. She said she played differently. I said, that's good thing. Come on.
We'll have announcements after.
Oh, yeah, after? Because I do have a couple.
We go now. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the glistening skies. Let it resound loud as the roaring sea. Here we go. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
And now to those countless generations that have reminded us that we are one people,
One people,
having one faith,
one faith,
one aim,
one aim,
and one destiny.
one destiny.
Let us call on the name of the Most High that we have been calling upon for generation upon generation. Let us all say,
Amen.
you are the most beautiful people
on the face of this earth.
Announcements. Some of us know Brother Samuel.
Yeah.
And
Samuel's Gallery.
From Samuel. And we did business with him years. We'll say did business with him. And I knew his wife and all that. So there's going to be a memorial for him on the 16th.
Yes.
And it's going to be like a jazz session. His wife sings. She's a jazz singer. And it's going to be from 6:30 to 8. So there are some flyers on the back.
That's at the Joyce Gallery. Is that where it's at?
I'm not sure, but there's a flyer on the back. And we also want to keep Sister Joyce, again, Rochette in our prayers.
And Mama Consuelo.
Mama Consuelo as well.
Yes, Mama Consuelo, she hasn't been feeling well at all. So if you have a number,
You know, she fell and hurt her wrist, broke the bone.
She's got a lot going on.
Yes. But Sister Joyce fell and hurt her shoulder. So she's got a bad leg. and now she's got a bad arm. So with one foot and one leg. So keep her in your prayers.
And the Women of Wose group is meeting on the 8th.
Yes.
All right.
Saturday.
And then I would also like to see
On the
all.
At 1 o'clock. On the 8th.
Why?
What? What's wrong?
Well, I have an announcement, but go ahead.
There's a lot going on the 8th. Okay, a lot going on there. But then I want the Emoji brothers, Brother Sidney, Brother Katabazi, Brother Ty, and Baba Jeff to please meet in the back after, while we're eating.
Today?
Okay? Yes, please. Okay.
I want to make an announcement.
Yes, Mama.
I just wanted to say that I'm happy to have been here today. And I'm pleased that my hair grew back. I pressed it out. I just want to see how long it was.
Yeah.
You know, our hair is going to shrivel up when you get wet because it always rains. And I was able to get out of the chair by myself because I have sciatica and muscle spasm. So what did it was the fact that I lost a few pounds.
And we thank you for stepping up as I asked you to play here the last Wednesday.
She loves that.
Actually, your pianist is out telling them what my particular style is because I'm just saying, there won't be no mistakes.
Any other announcements?
I got one. Next Saturday, that's why I was scared about the date. Next Saturday, between 12 and 3 p.m. at the West Oakland Public Library in Oakland, across from the Infirmary Park, Sister Wanda Sabir and the West Oakland branch are having the 23rd African American Celebration through Poetry. Yeah, I'm going to be there, dropping some poems, and also I've got a spot where some of the Stones will be gathering, maybe to do a tune. If we can work out the dynamics of that, but I'll certainly be there to do some poetry. That'll be from 12 to 3, and it's typically, they're local poets from all over San Francisco, Sacramento, come down, young and old, and so Wanda Sabir, she's been doing this for 23 years, and it's a great tribute.
Thank you. Any other announcements before we break? Any birthdays? Birthdays this week, this coming week? None? All right, well, that's all right.
The culminations today. The culminations of the whole thing.
Where you going?
No, I'm just going home. That's all.
Thank you so much, Mama Sia, for the water. I love hot water.
But I know you guys probably